Hey there, how's it going? Last time we've looked at obtaining a memory map from UEFI, and today we are going to go ahead and try to load a config file from our boot volume. So let's get to it. Alright, so I don't really want to have this get memory map print every single time, so I'll just comment that out. And here, I'll come over here and create a new, function. I'll call it read config file. There we go. And I'll go down here, create read config file. That means nothing. Right. So first thing we need to do is create a logger, of course. So this is the log scoped, and the scope would be config. Right. And we need to also copy these two things here and just put them over here. Right, and then we need to go ahead and so if we go over here to the UEFI specification, we can see that we have under media access, we have this simple file system protocol. This protocol only has one function, which is open volume, that basically returns the root directory on a volume. So let's use this first of all to open our volume, but before that we need to get the simple file system protocol. So const file system, and this would be UEFI protocol simple file system. There we go. And this would be, of course, a pointer to that, and it will be undefined at first. Right, and then we go ahead and do boot services dot locate protocol, and we pass it UEFI protocol simple file system protocol dot grid, and I think it's going to need a pointer to that, or yeah, a reference to that, and then we need to pass it the registration. We don't really care about that, and then we need to pass it the actual pointer to the protocol. So that will cast that as a so it's a pointer to a null pointer of any opaque. Yeah, and we'll take that, do a pointer cast on the so file system that we get. There we go. I'm just going to check that this is correct. So it's a pointer to an optional pointer to any opaque. Yep. Cool. And of course, I think that this here returns a status. So let's go ahead and do this status of type UEFI status. And this would just be undefined for now. And then we'll go here and take status to be this. And then we'll need to do a bit of error login. So I'll just go ahead somewhere here and just get these lines, and we should just change the debug message here. So located the file system protocol, and of course we get none in there. Otherwise, yeah, that looks okay. Looks fine for now. Right, so now we have our protocol. So let's use it. So file system. So we have open volume that takes a pointer to a const pointer to a file protocol. So let's do this, call it root, and go here and do var root, should be a pointer to UEFI tables, or was it tables or protocol? Protocol, and it was a of course a file protocol. And if we go into this, see what file protocol is. File protocol is UEFI protocol file, right? So we just need to do this, and this would be undefined for now. Then we open the volume with that, and of course we need to get the status from that. We also need to get that handle that status, and let's do successfully opened the root volume. Otherwise, that should be okay for now. Right, so we have our root volume. So now we will want to get our file. So status is root dot, and of course here we can go ahead and check. So this open volume returns a UEFI file protocol, and if we go here over to file protocol, we can see that we have functions, or members here to open, close, delete, read, write, and get info. So the ones we are going to use are get info to basically get the size of the file, and then open to open the file, get info to get the size of the file, and then read to read the file to some buffer. And if we go to open, there we go. So open takes so this is our volume. So it's the root directory, and then it takes a new handle, which is where it returns the new file. It takes a file name, and this is a car16, so it's UTF-16. Open modes and attributes. I guess open modes would need to be something that read, so read, write, or create, read, write. We are only interested in read for now, and attributes are only valid for create, so we'll just set them to 0, I guess. All right, let's do that. So this would be open, and it takes a new handle. So let's do config file handle. Let's just call it config file. Then it takes a file name, and we'll do UTF-16 or 12, and we'll pass that. We actually know our file name, what our file name is. It's in sys kernel.con, and just to be sure of that, I'll go here, make file, and we copy boot.config into sys kernel.con. And UEFI uses this / here for as a separator, kind of Windows style. So that's why we are using that. So here it says that if the file name starts with a /, the relative location is the root directory that this resides on. But since we are in the root directory, I think we can omit this first /. But we'll leave it in for now. Right, so what else do we need in that? We need open modes, so UEFI protocol file. Do we have read mode or mode read? There we go. And attributes, I think we don't care, just set a 0 there. Right, and here we need a const config file, and this config file should be so a pointer to a file, basically. This would be UEFI, UEFI protocol file, or rather a pointer to that. There we go. And this would be undefined. Right. Right. So now we have our file. We've opened our file. So we actually we need to do some error handling first. There we go. Right. So now what we need to do is we need to get the size of our file, so we can know how big of a buffer we need to allocate to store it in. So to do that, I guess we could just type in status, because I'm fairly sure that every single function here returns a status. And then we do get info, and with this get info, we should pass it information type, which is a pointer to a GUID and a few other things. So let me just go ahead and do get info here. So information type. Right, so we have file system info or file info. We can choose one of those. I think we are more interested in this file info here because it's the one that has the file size, and we have its GUID here. Otherwise, we need to pass it a pointer to a buffer size. So as we've seen before, on input, this is the size that we've allocated, and on output, it's the size that it has written, or it's the size that we need to allocate. And here we have a pointer to the data, of course. And what's weird here is that they are returning a void pointer with the information. So yeah, I think we need to do some add pointer cast shenanigans to get this working. Right, so first of all, let's try to see if we have that protocol, that GUID that we need. So file. So file, and we need, it's not there. Right, so let me just go ahead and take a look at the Zig library there. So UEFI, and we need to go to tables, maybe. Do we have a type here? No, we don't. So maybe it's in file info. Okay, so it's UEFI file info GUID. Right, so UEFI file info GUID. Wait, we need a pointer to that, and then we need a buffer size. So I'll just call it file info size, and of course we need a pointer to that. Just do that, and then we need a buffer. So file info. Yeah, let's just call it file info for now. Right. So const. We need file info size, and this would be a usize, of course, and we'll initialize that to 0. And then we are going to need a variable called file info, which is of type pointer to UEFI file info, right, which is undefined. And we are going to go ahead here and change this to as, I think, what does it need? It needs a many item pointer to U8. So let's do that, U8, and do a pointer cast and pass it file info, of course, file info. And I guess this can be const. Right, and let's also do some error checking here. So what we expect, since we have a file info size at 0, we expect a buffer too small error. And here we are going to need to do allocate and do something like this, bytes for file info. And this would just be file info size. Right, so we have file info size, and this error here, we don't really care about that for now. Right, so we have our size. So next thing we need to do is actually go ahead and allocate that size. So boot services.alloc pool, same as we did for our memory map, and we are going to pass it loader data and size, which is what did we call that? File info size, and we need a buffer, or rather a pointer to a mini pointer of 8 lines. So let's just go ahead and do as so pointer to many pointer of a line 8 U8, and here we need to do a pointer cast and an align cast. Align cast for file info. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I guess now we also need, we also need to do this like so, and we just need to change this to allocated the bytes for file info. And here, of course, we need file info size. Right. And then the next thing we need to do is obviously just do the same thing again. There we go. So with this, we should expect this to be a success. And if we change this, we should put something like got file info, file size, size is just, yeah, that in bytes. And here we do file info, file size. There we go. All right. So if we got all this right all the way here, we should at least see the correct file size if we build this, right? So let's stop here for now, build this, see what we get, and then continue afterwards. Right, so we have an error here. Pointer cast discards the const qualifier. So that should be here. So this would need to be var, and this also need to be var, I think. Maybe this can stay const. Expected type double pointer to UEFI global file, but found a simple or a const pointer to a pointer. Okay. Right. So at open. Right. So this needs to be var2. Okay. So expected type found usize. Get info. Expected type found usize. Information type. Sure. My bad. Okay, so expected pointer to usize found pointer to const usize. Okay, so that's just this that needs to be a var. And let's see. Use of undefined value here causes undefined behavior. Right. So we need this to be actually created before we can use it. So let's just do something like this. And I think that should be okay. Null pointer casted to type. Right. Okay. So we might want to do something different here. Right. So I guess we have the same error here. And this needs to be this. Okay, so we are building. So let's run this and see. Wow. So we got a beautiful GP exception. Right after we got the first get info. So let's take a look at that. So where was it? So we got this message here. Need to allocate thingy, right? Right. So right after this, we try to allocate a pool, and if I was to bid on this, I'd say it's this one that's causing the problem. And I think I know why that is. Right, so this needs to be a pointer to that. And let's do this again. Right, so file size, we are again told, is 62 bytes. Although, hold on, I have my doubts. Oh yeah, we do actually have another problem here. There we go. Right, so that should have fixed it. And let's run this again and see. So we have 62 bytes. So let's get out of this and go ahead to our internal shell. So fs0 and if we do there, we should have our files. So let's cd into sys and there again. And here we can see that kernel.con is in fact 62 bytes. Right, cool. So let's go back to our code. So we know that all the way until here, we are doing things right. So let's keep going. We have the file info. So what we need now is to actually allocate a buffer wide enough for our file and then read the file to that buffer. So what I'm going to do here is I'll do things in reverse. So I'll first do the call to read our file to our buffer, and then we are going to create the buffer after that. Right, so we need a buffer size, which is a pointer to the buffer size. So let's pass it a pointer to, what should it be? File buffer size, for example. And then we'll pass it so it needs a many pointer to a U8. I think we can just pass it something like config file, or maybe not. File buffer, or better yet, contents. Right, so let's create those. So first, we know what the file size is, so we can just create a constant to allocate that size. But what I want to do is, since we know that, as we did in our BIOS bootloader, we want this file, this config file, or the environment file, as we've called it, to actually occupy one whole page. So we know that we need this buffer size to be 1 page wide. So let's just create buffer size and set that to so just 1 page, right? So I'll do this, or actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to create page count, and this would be 1, and then here we'll do so page count times 4086, and that should be okay. And now we need the const buffer. So this here will be a const contents, which will be a many pointer to U8, and this will be just undefined for now. Right, so we need to allocate this number of pages at this address here, right? So let's do that. Actually, there's one other thing I want to do here is I want to defer free pool, and this takes a pointer yeah, so we need to line cast that file info. Actually, we're also going to need to what's our file info? Yeah, we need to cast that also. So this will be as that. There we go. And this should be this. Right. That should be okay. So if we go down here now, and we can do status is boot services services dot allocate pages this time, since we want to allocate an integer number of pages. So alloc type, I think if we do UEFI tables, alloc type. So allocate address is if we want to allocate a specific address. Allocate any pages is if we want to allocate basically any page that's available. And max address lets us specify the maximum address that we are allowed to allocate from. I think for now, I'm just going to stick to any pages. So just do this. Probably do this just to clean up the call a bit. And then we need memory type. I think memory type will just do loader data as we've been doing for now. Then we have page count. And here we need a pointer to a many pointer U8 with alignment of one page. Right. And we have many pointer. I think we can just add the alignment constraint on it. Should be okay. And here we can just go ahead and do contents like so. And I believe this can be a variable. Yes. Okay, so now that we have allocated our pages and then read our buffer, let's just do a quick status check here before we move on. And what do we have here? We've allocated, so allocated, let's say something like this, pages for config file contents. And of course, here we are going to set this to page count. Right, and we are actually going to copy this again, set it here, and we expect a success. And we want this to be read file contents. And probably do something like this, and then yeah, sure. We can do something like this, I think. And here we can do contents, and we need to do something like this, and file info.file size. That looks okay. Let's build this and see. Right, so we right, so we need to do a cast here, and this needs to be that, I think. No, actually, this needs to be a pointer cast. Of course, let's not forget those. And let's add another one of these here. Right, so we also need to pass it the alignment constraint. Oh, right. So expected type usize found comp time. That's easy to fix. That's easy to fix. Does this need usize? I think this one needs usize too. Let's check that. Okay, so it needs to be non-constant. This one here. There we go. There we go. And now it builds. Nice. So let's see what we have. And there we have it. We have the contents of our file. Let's just check that we have all of our file and not just some portion. So if I go here, boot config, and we can see that we actually do have all 4 lines of our file. Well, there you have it. We have successfully read a file using the UEFI protocols. As always, if you like to support the channel, please leave a like and a comment. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye.